Hey everyone, the numbers are in for the second quarter for 2024 for the Panama City Beach real estate market. I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group over at Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices. If you've watched any of these videos previously, you know I'm a big months of inventory guy, so I'm going to go into a lot of those charts and data in just a minute. If you don't like all the technical stuff, a couple of things that I think are important for you to understand before we get into that. First of all, as of August 17th, the way real estate is bought and sold is set to change potentially very dramatically for the first time in decades. As a function of the settlement between the Department of Justice and the National Association of Realtors, anyone buying and selling real estate will probably follow these new rules. And the short version is, in the MLS system, if someone was going to go buy a house or a condo here in Panama City Beach and I was working with the buyer and we lined up 3 or 4 or 5 things to look at, I would pull up the MLS system, look at the price, look at the showing instructions, look at the information about the house or the condo, and I would also see what the fee is that I would earn if this transaction got put together. That's how it's been done for decades in the real estate business. The Department of Justice is looking to try to decouple real estate fees, and seller, you hire your real estate professional and you negotiate the fee you're going to pay for those services. Buyer, if you want to buy something and use the services of a real estate professional, you would negotiate with them on what those fees would look like. So theoretically, makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of misinformation inside of the real estate industry itself about how this is going to look. We know a lot of sellers still would be agreeable to pay a buyer's agent fee, but now that can't be communicated through the MLS, what is this going to look like? So we're really here for the numbers, but in short, if you're buying or selling real estate anywhere, Panama City Beach or anywhere else, you have friends or family who are thinking about it, make sure you're talking with someone who understands what the new settlement means, and also be very leery of anyone who tells you, a real estate agent or professional that tells you this is how you have to do it. I think there are going to be a lot of different ways that we can follow the new rules and still affect real estate transactions with how a buyer wants to do something, how a seller wants to do something. In another simple way to think about this is really an accounting thing, but there are going to be some different ways to manage this. So just make sure you're working with a real estate agent that's willing to, or talk to someone who's willing to talk you through all this and talk you through all the different options that are out there. And again, don't fall for someone who's saying, oh, you have to do it this way. All right, let's look at the numbers. And again, if you know anybody thinking about buying, selling in Panama City Beach who likes to try to keep up with the market, please share this with them. I'm only ever sending this to the database of people who have asked for this. You'll get it on email. I post it to the YouTube channel, but if you know anybody who wants to be on the list, share this with them. If you're watching this and you'd like to be on the list to receive updates, give me a call or shoot me a text to 850-290-0417. All right, a lot to talk about in the market. So I'm going to break it down by Gulfront condos, Gulfront homes and attached single family units, traditional residential. Remember, months of inventory is a number I like to use to assess how hot or cold a market is. 5 or 6 months of inventory has historically represented a very neutral, balanced market in real estate. The idea is that whatever it is we're comparing, houses in this neighborhood, condos in this city, we, at a normal pace of things, we would sell out of a market in 5 or 6 months. When the market is hotter than that, things are moving faster, there's more demand, that number is lower. 3 months of inventory, 2 months of inventory, hotter market. 1 month of inventory, even hotter market. Just the opposite's true. Once we go over 6 months of inventory, we drift into buyer market territory. 7 months, 8 months, 10 months. The slower things are, the more pressure there is on pricing to come down. So let's look at this chart a couple of different ways for a couple of different products out there. When we start by looking at the Gulfront condo market, March of last year was an extremely hot 1.43 months of inventory. Very, very strong seller market. And like you would expect, or if you remember, lots of multiple offer situations, things were selling quickly. We were on the tail end of a lot of appreciation because this number had been very low for about 2 years. If you follow this number, you can see we've been steadily slowing down since March of last year. And in June of this year, we've exploded up to 20.29 months of inventory in the Gulffront condo market. It's a little eye-opening for a couple of reasons. June numbers are a function of the contracts written in May. And so being at the beginning of beach season, when people are excited about renting at the beach, excited about coming to the beach and owning at the beach, to see that we've slowed down that much is gives you a real sense of what's happening in the condo market. And another way to look at this, think back 10 years. I've been saying this all morning I do a lot of individual condo updates. But think about the last 10 years of your life. And for me, that looks like, certainly COVID, like everybody else, hurricane here locally back in 2018. I think the oil spill was past that, but I think about my 19-year-old daughter who's going into her second year of college. She was only 9 years old. My 13-year-old son, who's almost as tall as me, was 3. 10 years is a long time. Look at that same chart for the Gulffront condo market over a 10-year period and see we've been trending up and hovering around the last few months about as slow as we've been in the last 10 years. And we've now exploded twice as slow as we've been in a 10-year period. If my software would let me go back further, it would be even more than that. The longer we stay in buyer market territory, the more pressure there is on pricing to come down. The more extreme, the more pressure. So it gives you some sense of what's going on in the condo market. If you want to watch any of the individual condo market videos, go to the website and check that out. Another way to look at condo market statistics, we have 56% more inventory right now, 56% more condos for sale now than this time last year. They've been on the market 21% days longer. Here are the big numbers. Down 33% in the numbers sold. We're 35% less volume this year. The average sales price early in the year is down 3%. We're normally appreciating this time of year. It's going to be an interesting off season in the condo market. When you look at Gulffront, anything that is not condominiums, so attached units and Gulffront houses, going back to March of last year, similar story. You can see we were at a pretty healthy, seller side of neutral market, 4.75 months of inventory, and exploded to 29, 30 months of inventory, been at 30 months of inventory. We've popped down on a couple of sales, but for the most part have hovered pretty high. The last number that even showed up was 15 months of inventory. We haven't had a sale in June. We didn't have a sale in January or February. Gives you some sense. It's very similar to what's happening in the Gulffront condo market. If you look at just detached single-family housing, early 2023 or a lot of 2023 was dominated by some new construction in Margaritaville near Bitterwee Beach. So the numbers stayed pretty good. Seller market territory for Gulffront housing at the pace of sales there. And remember, we're analyzing a lot less data here. So a few sales in Margaritaville really can make it look like a strong seller's market. But look at what's happened since then. We've had one sale in the first 6 months of the year on a Gulffront house. That's set the number at 15 months of inventory. We can't even pull a number or put a number together because there just aren't closings happening right here. The good news, if you really analyze the Gulffront detached single-family housing market, most people are still holding to their pricing. Sellers there haven't been a ton of price reduction there. So I think sellers are being patient there. It's going to be interesting to see what happens the rest of the year to try to get some of those deals done. When you look at the traditional just detached single-family market across the beach, again, very hot March of last year, 3.03 months of inventory, slowing down as you can see. Interest rates on loans is a big driver of this. It's only slowed down to 6.71 months of inventory, which is just slight buyer market territory. But this is a little misleading when you look at the market as a whole. There are, I can think of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 neighborhoods, 4 new neighborhoods, 5 neighborhoods where builders are selling new construction and offering tremendous incentives to buyers. So it's not only is it a new house, but you're getting some really wonderful incentives of buying down interest rates and money towards closing costs and other things. If you look at this same number, if you're an owner of real estate in Panama City Beach, you own a house and you're thinking about selling, but you're looking at resales, this is taking out, this snapshot would apply to communities like Whisper Dune, Breakfast Point, Palmetto Trace, Summerwood, some of the things over in Bay Point, Pelican Bay, things like that. So price between $500,000 and $750,000 detached single family, but 2020 or older. Same idea. They were 3.07 months of inventory in March, but they've exploded in the last few months to 17 months of inventory. So if you're in that price point and you're older resale, you have far more challenges, and the market is much softer than it appears if you just pull up that overall number. So a couple final thoughts for buyers, sellers here. Buyers, some massive opportunity in the market. The market is softer. Sellers are generally going to be a little more negotiable. If you're buying new construction, builders are giving tremendous incentives. And believe it or not, you can even negotiate off of what they're offering. This wasn't happening 2 years ago. Make sure you're talking with a real estate professional that can guide you through this commission stuff. There are probably going to be some ways that even though you may be paying for the fee or agreeing to pay them a fee, that you can get the fee to the other side of the transaction like we have been. So make sure you're working with someone that's shooting you straight on that stuff. Sellers, especially, and anybody I'm talking to here probably would be a resale, or unless you're building, I'm working with one owner selling brand new Gulfront. But make sure you as you're interviewing real estate professionals, you're dealing with a couple things. Again, someone who can talk you through this commission thing and what's that going to mean for you as a seller, and how can that help you or hurt you? What can you do to save yourself some money? How can this manage you to get you to the finish line and get something sold? Also, probably as important as that, make sure you start the process a little sooner than you think. Don't call a real estate office on Friday and think you're going to have a meeting Saturday and have a sign in the ground Saturday afternoon. That's very possible, but I don't know that the market, you won't be getting first class marketing if you do it that way. The good listing agents out there are shooting professional photos, professional videos, because we know that listings with professional video are seen online 403% more often than those without. They're also shooting professional 3D tours because those lead to 3% higher selling prices. Drone work is also included. And then once all that's packaged up, websites are built, and then ads are being run to make sure this message is being spread, not just locally, but nationally and internationally, really. That takes a little bit of time. So make sure, again, you're talking with someone that can navigate the commission stuff and has a plan for marketing that just isn't, here's some professional photos and we're putting you in the MLS. There's a lot more to it than that. You have to know internet marketing. You have to know social marketing, all those things. So I hope this helps. That's the very quick version of the PCB real estate market overview for the second quarter of 2024. Again, if you have any questions for me, I've been doing this for 21 years now. Those of you who know me know I'm not terribly pushy or salesy. So if you just have a question, want some more information about this, give me a call, shoot me a text, 850-290-0417. Again, I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group at Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices. Thanks for watching.